Okay, so I just wanted to make a little bit of a video for the rank beginner because, oh boy, if you're not a rank beginner, if you have any experience bending anything in one go, oh boy, there are a lot of people who can give you better advice than I can. I'm not going to lie to you. But I wanted to give some advice to the rank beginner about how to make some small improvements in your bending that can help get you kind of from the timber tie or below level up to bending your first 60 penny nail. One thing that I've noticed is that there are a lot of people who want to bend because they're really, really strong. And being really strong often comes with very, very bad shoulder mobility. Now, I'm not really strong, but I have terrible shoulder mobility. So I wanted to go over a couple of the exercises that I use to kind of get warmed up. First of all, if you take a look at my cheapy squat rack back here, I've got an Amazon black resistance band. I started with the red resistance band on this one, but what I like to do with this is I like to just grab it in an overhand grip and do face pulls. And that helps me get my elbows up. Sorry, I'm losing count. And that helps work out some of the kinks that are in my shoulders as I'm getting ready to bend. Usually I'll superset those, and I have a nice Amazon red band here. I know they're not available right now from Amazon, but a lot of us have some kind of resistance band around. And guys, it's not important to use exactly the band that I'm using. Use one that feels good. If you don't have any that are heavy enough to feel good, do more reps with them. Bands are all about accommodating resistance. And so I like to throw some pull-aparts in there. And I'll usually do a set of 10 face pulls, 5 pull-aparts, just because I find that they're a little bit harder on my joints when I'm doing pull-aparts. I also like to throw in then a couple of band snatches. I'm standing on the band here. I know I've got my little bending cart in the way here. My form on these is terrible, but they're very helpful. The idea is to come up and then bring it right back along your back of your neck. And for these, start with the lightest band you have, because they will get a little bit more intense toward the end. So a warm-up will typically include 3 rounds for me, because that's what's feeling right for me. And after the first round of face pulls, pull-aparts, band snatches, I will grab my 7-inch polycarbonate rod. So I bought a 24-inch rod, and I cut it down into 7, 8, and 9-inch lengths, because I find that the longer your bar is, the better mobility you're going to get, but you can't go straight to an 8 or a 9-inch bar right away. It's just not going to happen for you. You're also going to find that, again, your form, mine is awful. Yours is probably going to be pretty awful on these as well. But I'm just wrapping them up using leather because I prefer the way it feels for these warm-ups. I just wrap them up like a bar, and I practice bringing them into position. And I'll hit them a couple of times just to loosen things up a little bit. I'm chalking up just like I would for a normal bend, because I treat these like normal bends as well. And let me just throw another tip at you here. What I see a lot of people doing is I see a lot of bending down here, which not only is inefficient, but it's, guys, you're gonna get hurt. Everybody who was at the Michigan competition last year remembers during the first event, we had a guy get hurt, and he ended up driving his motorcycle to the hospital with a torn rotator cuff. Oh man, that was scary. So we want to get you to a comfortable position that's not down here. Even though you feel like you're strong here, you're putting a lot of stress on your shoulder. And think about what muscles you're activating here. You definitely want to take advantage of, if you're a big, strong, stiff guy like I am, if you're tight and you have no mobility, that's probably because you got a big ass neck roll for your tricep, or for your trapezoid, trapezius. Oh gosh, guys, I'm not teaching math today. For your traps up here. So I'm just going to say, for the first couple of bends, it's usually a lot easier to come in from above. So I'm stretching this up just above my head. I should point out, I'm getting into my pistol grip first. I'm trying to bend my wraps over, and I like to keep my fingers on the wrap. I know a lot of people like to keep it on the bar, but I find I get better leverage and I'm able to push a little bit harder. Also, I'm kind of a wimp. So I find that I get just better pushes that way. So I'm in my pistol grip. You can see like this. I'm in my pistol grip, coming over my head. And I actually, let me move this out of the way. I bend in something similar to my jerk stance, except it's way more exaggerated than my jerk stance is, because I don't get a whole lot of movement in my jerk because I'm a big stiff guy. But when I'm able to get myself into position here, I like to line up my heels like I'm doing warrior position in yoga. I mean, like I'm doing a split jerk and then I'm gonna kick its ass. And my heels are a little bit closer than my split jerk position, obviously, if they're lined up here, but I find I get good stability like that. I don't know if you can see, my right toes are pointing perpendicular to my body, my left toes are pointing forward. And I find coming down from the top into my neck allows me to wind up and then put a big hit on the bar. Now, this is the first hit I've taken today. You can see my form is terrible right now. That's why we're warming up. So I'll do 3 of these. And so that's just a nice way to get my shoulders warmed up.